in history, Indigenous people have been natural oral and visual storytellers. It's how we've communicated. That's how we've passed down all of our teachings, and our knowledge was through oral and visual storytelling. So when you look at all of our blankets and all of the designs that are incorporated into it, each one is super rich and full of knowledge and culture that's being passed down through generations still. So when we use our designs, or the authentic designs, it's really sharing that knowledge and being able to weave. And when you talk about like weaving and storytelling, is that all of them have a significance that is sharing and sharing knowledge and celebrating the culture. So I find that when we're able to represent authentic Indigenous designs and still carry that forward by sharing knowledge for generations to come, but also connecting generations from the past and learning from what passing down our history, but also passing down to the next generations through design and creating beautiful art that has so much knowledge woven into that significance.
Part of doing the right thing too is doing things locally, which again, the textile space is not something we see that's that common in Canada. Maybe there's more conversations right now. We're recording this in 2025, but perhaps trying to reconsider that of bringing things closer together. But why was that so important, even from the beginning of designing, cutting, and sewing, and doing it all here within Canada?
And you say that out loud, or like, oh my gosh, the struggles. It's actually a wild world to be in the manufacturing, especially in the region that we're in. We're in Gatineau in the Outaouais area, and it's not known for sure for its manufacturing, and also in the industry, in the textile and machines that we work with, and the staffing that we look for, considering that it is like a government-run city or area here. That a lot of I know that there's a percentage of people who work for the government, and it's high. So when we wanted to do this, I think that the whole idea was to really just create, I think that when we do things, we do it with quality and we do it with intention, and we are mission focused, but it's part of our value focus. But even Melanie and I, we share the same values personally that we brought into our business. So we really wanted to, have impact. And what does that look like? It looks like also by creating jobs in the community. It also means like having really high quality products that we can have an eye on. It means that we have everything in-house that we can, we're proud to say that it's made here in Canada. And with our fabrics brought in from Italy as well, it's just really important to us to continue making things here locally so we can have that impact and have an eye on our quality, which is like one of our highest standards here with our values. So think that just the whole made in Canada aspect is really important for us as well.
And it's also us that we discovered, again, me with I look like we really didn't have a plan, but I guess we have we were driven by our mission. But in the textile industry, I'm sure you know, Lauren, that it's a man's world. It's a man's world. And then we didn't know that. We're just like the two girls that are like, hello. So so a lot of challenges and learning curves. But I'm still very proud to say that we are two women, and we own our own manufacturer.
Yeah. And I honestly do think that when you say that out loud, it's like we don't deliberately take the hard route, but we make change. And I think that's a lot of the things that we do is we're opening the doors constantly to, I don't know, inspire others or just make changes, like we're always just trying to do things in a good way and differently, and continue paving a way, maybe I say that, but it's just, we say challenges, they're there, but we're very resilient and resourceful, and we're very passionate about what we do.
You're talking about the fabrics as well, and I think that's one of the things that initially drew me in was that you were also looking at sustainable fabrics. So what is that like in, call it now 2025, of trying to source these fabrics, and why was that an important piece of this as well?
First, we were not using sustainable fabrics. We just started. We were trying to find a manufacturer weaver that would weave our designs. Point, So just that is a challenge itself, because it's a mix of wool, and it was a mix of wool and polyester back then. So then the more the business grew, and then we were in our basement, we created our own manufacturer. then for me, it didn't, and for me and for Trish, it didn't seem right. So for me, I saw it because we learned also in the textile world that I would say 99% of the name for fabric that you see means plastic. So it means plastic. It's like acrylic plastic, polyester plastic, polyamide plastic, So then for us, it didn't seem right to like I just had that image in my head, and I still have it. Like, so you're telling me that the more we grow, the more we're gonna cover the earth in a saran wrap? Because you have to picture that we order kilometers of fabric every year. So I was like, how can I defend that to my girls? How can I tell them, like in 20 years, that yeah, I grew a business, but it's really like wrapping the earth in saran wrap? I don't know. I cannot unsee that image. So we were on a mission to find a more sustainable fabric, and we are still always on a mission. So we're always trying and trying. So ideally, our fabric would come from Canada. But as we said before, Canada is not known for textile industry, and we don't have the machines. And on some wild days, we're dreaming on having our own machine. We're just gonna have our own machine. But right now, our fabric is woven in Italy with recycled wool and recycled polyester, and they're really artisan. So it's like hand-picked the colors, so the fabric is not dyed again. So all the same colors are together, 100% wool, then shredded, then respun, and then woven. It's like incredible process, and we're like really grateful to have our supplier right now. And we are on the look, if anyone is listening, for 100% sustainable wool or recycled wool.
There's sometimes waste as well, just part of the process. I come from a manufacturing background as well, and I know that that's just the reality. Sometimes you'll have scraps, that sort of thing. But you are also thinking about that as part of your journey. You've put a couple of different programs in place to help address that kind of end of life of those little pieces, I guess. So could you speak to what that thought process is like when you're trying to think about how can we maybe repurpose this in a different way?
Yes, as part of the manufacturing process, for sure, we always take into consideration all of our impact and our waste. And we're really conscious of the decisions that we make and the products. Like even when we started, we were always keeping we had no idea what we were doing with this fabric, but we would keep it in our basements in bags.
And you loved it, eh?
Yeah, it's like,
I was like, what are we gonna do with this, Trish? I'll find something. I'll find a product.
No, but we had bags of it, and we didn't ever really want to put it in the landfill, because even now the quality of our fabric is beautiful. So when we take that into consideration, we always tried to make other products with some of like the ends that once we make like our shawl, we use the center to make our mittens. So we always try to utilize and optimize as much of the fabric as possible. But you're right, when there are those ends, or there's some of the other fabrics, we've created a program where we have organizations have reached out, or we've reached out to other organizations. There's either Indigenous women organizations, schools that are here locally. We've collaborated with other brands who are like they recycle. What is it called? It's like upcycle all of their products in clothing. So it's almost like a full like another circle of the recycling aspect of where the fabric comes from. We're also recycling our ends. We call them scraps, but they're our ends, so that they can have another life form. So either the schools will make small projects to bring in some of the community projects that they work on, or the women's shelter, they make products to bring money back into their programs for the organization, and then we also always include people connect. The organizations also connect and learn, and they create conversations or teaching around what the fabric they're using means. So we supply the artist card so that the instructor can pass that information down, so that they also are learning about the textile, that it's recycled, they're using it in another form, and then it's creating another life to that fabric instead of going into the landfill. So we also are very conscious of what our impact is and what we're disposing, and ensuring that we're trying to do our best to keep it out of the landfill and share it with others who can benefit from it.
Your sustainability journey, I know that you've also expressed You're thinking about this from the seventh generation principle. And for our listeners who are maybe less familiar with this, can you share kind of how this lens can help us all think about how we can be more sustainable in our day to day and our personal, professional lives as well?
The seventh generation principle is it's an Indigenous concept that has been leading our practices, our life, where it guides us in terms of the decision making that we make. And it's just to really remember the 7 generations before you, and also keep in mind when you're making all of your decisions, the 7 generations to come. So it's not just you as a person solo on this planet. You have to make the right decisions and think about it to sustain it for the next 7 generations. So it's even whether you're talking about environmental issues or you're just your day-to-day practice, how you treat people, everything. I think that it's not just an Indigenous concept. It should be practiced by everyone, and thinking about maybe just like less selfish or like selfless, or you just think about others and also others and our mother, who we're like all sharing in this planet that we're on, and how we can sustain her for the next 7 generations. I think that it's really an important practice to take on for everybody to make their decisions.
One of the things we also say is like, buy well, buy once, in the sense of like, sometimes with the price point, or, with the fast fashion, or people are used to that. But I think, and I hope I kind of see like the light over there, that a lot of more people are starting to ask questions and value quality over quantity. So that also would like be part of the 7 generation.
Exactly that, because all of our products are like, we take that in, we put that principle into our products so that they can be passed down as an heirloom to multiple generations. And when you buy well, you're buying once, and then that's something that can be practiced in everything that you do.